So we're going to go ahead and transition to our student presenters. With the first up will be Victoria.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Victoria Morris, and I have the pleasure to be presenting my research topic today. First, I just want to thank the Cook Center for the ability to perform this research and have the ability to present it to all of you. I also want to thank Ms. T and all the faculty and staff for their help as I research this topic. My topic for today is separation in STEM, the factors that hinder elementary children of color from STEM, in which I will be talking to you about how people of color are the minority, as well as the recent research I have done, as well as what elementary schools do not provide for students, the socioeconomic field regarding STEM, and representation. In the STEM field in the United States, it is seen that at least 45% of people of color in the STEM field attribute their lack of people of color to the fact that they were not encouraged to pursue STEM at an early age. And at this age, however, children are the most susceptible to information and early ideas because they are developing. Early education focuses more on arts and math than science and technology. My research question for this topic was what factors impact an elementary child's level of interest and long-term professional pursuit in STEM careers. For my thesis statement, I found it to be that students' access to STEM curriculum and programs, sufficient school funding and transportation, and diverse, highly qualified staff affects students' eventual professional involvement in STEM careers. Next, I will move on to terminology. Please bear with me, there are quite a few. First, I would like to talk about STEM. STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and math. In the STEM field, I will be focusing on natural, physical, and life sciences, as well as for technology, computer and electronics, and all types of engineering and mathematics. Next is socioeconomic status, in which I've defined socioeconomic status as a sigma in social class based on the resources that people have, which, for example, income, education, and housing. Socioeconomic class is broken up into 3 sections: high, middle, and low class, typically determined on a person's lifestyle. Next is people of color. I just want to define this because I do talk about it a lot in my presentation, in which people of color is normally defined as people who have darker pigmentation to their skin. In this presentation, I will be focusing on Hispanic and African American descent people. My next term is white flight, in which people leave areas of increasing minority population, taking resources that they provide with them. And next, I want to define elementary schools, in which we look at grades 1 to 5, which generally ages from ages 4 to 11. And lastly, I found this very difficult to find a definition, but I've defined diversity as it is the seen and unseen differences between people, as is often referred to as a regulated reform of public and private institutions intending to undo historical, social, and cultural discrimination and exclusion. Next, I will be moving on to how I researched this topic. My primary source for this paper was Elementary and Secondary STEM Education, written in 2021, which provided tools on demographics of students' knowledge of STEM and teachers' knowledge and effectiveness of teaching. My methodology to support this paper were the many sources provided on my topic. I found many demographics from the U.S. government, as well as research from researchers like myself on this term. Okay. Next, I will be moving into the body paragraphs of the paper that I have written. My first topic will be socioeconomic factors. Then I will be talking about representation in STEM. And lastly, I will be talking about elementary school teaching and resources. First is socioeconomic factors. Since people of color make up a large majority of those in low socioeconomic status, a large portion of people of color cannot excel at STEM education, not due to the inherent ability or interest, but primarily due to the lack of resources and exposure. In addition to not receiving the help that schools need to promote STEM communities that are not given the funding necessary to promote STEM within their communities. Excuse me. Next is representation. In a study in the U.S., it is found that 69% of workers in the STEM field are white, as to the comparing 31%, which are people of color. It has also been found in another study that 41% of Americans attribute their lack of diversity in the STEM field as to why people are not given the resources they need to pursue STEM at a young age. Next is the elementary school system. Creating an elementary school foundation at an elementary age is fundamental, as it allows children to critically think and develop. In a 2005 study, it was found that in a school in Boston that implemented the task "Engineering is Elementary," in which the study provided K through 5 students information on STEM, and then were later asked to determine what technology and engineering were and what engineers do. In this, the results showed that students could understand the concept of engineering and technology and could grow from it. They only needed to be taught it. However, curriculum isn't the only flaw regarding STEM in schools. It is in teaching as well. It is shown that when preparing for classes, 52% of elementary teachers say they are not adequately prepared to teach engineering to their students. And it is imperative that we provide the teachers with this research so that students are adequately prepared for this field when they choose to pursue it. It is also found that in another study that 32% of 44 institutions in the study that taught STEM, and of that 36%, 32% provided zero instruction. It is imperative that we provide teachers with the resources they need to teach these students. Next, I will move on to my suggested future research. As I have stated before, I have found a program called Engineering is Elementary, which covers engineering, computer science, and math for elementary school students. Engineering is Elementary is a curricular division that provides a curriculum for elementary students to learn STEM topics, especially technology and engineering. This curriculum could be used in school classrooms and in after-school classrooms as well, after-school programs as well. I did have a video providing a little brief overview of Engineering is Elementary. However, it is not able to play at this time. But in your seats, you have found a pamphlet that covers Engineering is Elementary, what it is, why we should provide it, as well as the cost of implementing it in our schools. And then on the back, you will find a school curriculum as well as for North Carolina, as this is the main area that I'm looking that we can hopefully move forward in producing this curriculum. In elementary schools, schools should consider changing the curriculum and allowing students to learn the fundamentals of engineering at an early age, as well as the rest of STEM. It is imperative that students receive quality teachers who are adequately taught to teach these students to STEM topics. Without adequate teaching, students cannot grow in the subjects they are taught, which will cause a decrease in performance. Socioeconomic status affects the entire process, as funding for schools and lower class people of color provide them with the materials and further tools to enhance their interest in STEM. To help maintain that interest and give children something to work towards or look up to, it is imperative that we have representation within the STEM field as well. And that is all. Thank you. Are there any questions on my topic? Go ahead. No schools in Durham have this program. However, W.G. Pearson is a STEM school. However, they only focus on math within their school. Are there any other questions? If not, thank you.